Testing. 1 2 1 2. Guys. So this is hi. I'm still figuring this out, like a lot of us people. So my name is Chevy. I'm a wellbeing and performance coach, and I'm also a ambassador for men's mental health charity Calm, and a close supporter of the guys at Get Ahead. Now, dear human beings of the Nighttime Industries Association, I have been asked. I jumped on a call with Get Ahead guys and Mike and Sheila and so forth. I've probably got names wrong, by the way. I'm just apologise. My memory is all over the place at the moment. I jumped on those guys on a call and with the guys with Get Ahead, and we're kind of like, right, how can we help? How can we support you wonderful human beings at the moment through what is a very, very challenging time? And we are going to be working on looking at some potential specific videos and solutions to put out there on certain subjects to help you manage the stress and your energy for the road ahead. And because we want to kind of listen to you, we want to understand how we can help you. We want to talk to you first. But in the meantime, I got asked if I would put together a quick video with some motivational words or some thoughts and feelings on how to manage stress and anxiety. Now, first of all, I don't think I'm a motivator. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm not here to change you. I have no idea who you are. And the thing about mental and physical diversity is it's so unique and different to all of us that I would be insulting you to think that I can just come along and give you some nugget that's going to change the way you think. And I don't change the way that anyone thinks. My job is to just give people some solutions or a blueprint to be ultimately their own architect, to be able to unlock a little bit more energy and understand this kind of power cord attached to the supercomputer on their heads. Because once they can understand that, they can start to think for themselves and make better decisions and have energy to be able to navigate the road ahead, and also the energy to be there for their family and loved ones through challenging times. And it's really important because some of you might be out there, and definitely you blokes. Like I said, I'm a men's mental health charity. I hang out. We talk a little bit. When I say the word energy, they just look at me and like, shut up, Chev. Don't talk about woo-woo. I ain't talking about woo-woo, right? I'm talking about the fact that we consume calories, and those calories go to our brain and our nervous system. 20% of those calories go to our brain and our nervous system, right? We need energy not only to be to move through life, but we need energy to be able to think more clearly, to be able to keep our thoughts and emotions in check, to be able to demonstrate the behaviors that we want to demonstrate as good functioning human beings. Did you know that master chess players can burn up to 6,000 calories in a chess tournament, right? And they're not going anywhere. They're not moving, right? They are consuming those calories, keeping everything together up there and strategizing. And I'd probably say that's kind of what life is right now. And, I'm talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people don't have the energy to suddenly start going for a run or training in the gym or clear out their closets with all this time that they've got. Like, people's energy is being drained by trying to navigate the road ahead, right? Trying to be there for family and loved ones, trying to stay strong, right? When actually inside, their shit is fucking falling apart. And hey, I'm one of them, right? And it's really important. And our household is very much with a lot of you guys at the moment. My wife works in the leisure industry, the hospitality industry. She's having to have some very, very tough phone calls and conversations with human beings out there right now. She started on, she now works in operations, but she started on the floor, and she's run pubs, and, she's a grafter, and she comes from that world, and it's very hard her having to have tough conversations with people that she has looked after and worked with for so long. So, there's a lot of energy in our house at the moment, having tough conversations, externally, but also internally. As a guy, my business, I lost all my business overnight. I do a lot of talks and workshops. This is why this is so unnatural for me, guys. Like, it's very nerve-wracking. And I lost all my business in the space of a couple of days, and I've got no income, and I can't do talks and I can't do workshops, so I'm having to pivot and think outside the box. And I'm trying to wear a brave face for my wife and not talk about things. And God, I had someone called me the other day and they're like, how are you? And I was like, I'm fine, you know, but actually underneath I wasn't. It was a very tough couple of days, and it consumes calories and energy, me just trying to keep those emotions and thoughts and feelings in check. You know, and it's really important that you guys understand energy from that perspective, because if we can start to understand that energy is this very real, tangible thing that helps us, you know, not only navigate the physical movements of life, but also the mental challenges of life, we can start to think about how we can influence our energy, right? Like, how can we maybe unlock 10% of energy more in a day? Or how can I get a refund of 10% energy back of the average amount that I spend in a day? Then how would you use it, right? Like, would you spend that energy being able to show up for loved ones and have conversations with them and listen to them and be able to kind of, you know, wear the mask and demonstrate the willpower and self-control to keep yourself together, or be able to navigate a harder conversation? Would you spend that energy going for a run? Would you spend that energy doing yoga? Would you spend that energy starting a new hobby? Like, how would you spend that 10% of energy? And I suppose that's what I do. That's my mission, really, is to help people unlock an extra 10% of energy, and then they can go away and make change in their own lives. They don't need me anymore. So what I'm going to do for the next couple of minutes is give you an understanding of where you might be able to just find a little mental energy to navigate some of the problems that you're having to solve. And if we do that, we need to think about something. We need to think about stress. Right? We need to think about what is stress. And I can be quite black and white in this conversation, guys. So forgive me. And if there is anything here that you kind of touch as a raw nerve or you don't agree with, please just understand I'm trying to be as black and white as possible. And I'm just trying to give you some real need to know nuggets of information for you to be able to assimilate into your life. But if there's a lot of grey areas in this, if you disagree with me, you can always reach out and have a conversation with me. If you'd like to have more, I am absolutely contactable. Chevy@chasingprojects.com, or you can find me online at the Wellbeing CEO. If you have any questions, you give me a shout. But we have to look at stress as a very black and white thing. You know, there's a lot of stimulus in our life at the moment, dealing with finances, you know, losing jobs, having tough conversations with loved ones, reading the news, checking emails, going through social media. These things are all stimuluses, you know. These are all things that suddenly spike a response in us, right? And that response, our heart rate changing, our respiratory rate changing, that response is our body's way of telling us that there is something in front of us that is important to us. There is something in front of us, there is a challenge in front of us that is a threat to our well-being, and our well-being is our mental, physical, social, or environmental health. So when our heart rate changes, when we feel that spike of adrenaline, when we get tunnel vision, our body's going like, hey, there is something in front of you right now that I need you to deal with. We need to deal with. And the reason I'm going to pump some blood around your body, the reason your breathing is changing, is because that's my way of giving you energy and focus to tackle the task ahead. Remember, this response that we have is evolution's way of giving us the tools from us shifting into maybe a third or fourth gear into a first gear to be able to navigate the problem, right? It's like when we go to the gym, or we're going to go and race someone around a track or go for a run, right? We want our body to give us the energy and focus to be able to do that. We want the resources. We want to be able to access first gear. And the same thing goes for when dealing with problems, right? The same thing goes me coming into this video and recording this for you right now. Like, I'm nervous to do it, and I can feel my heart rate pumping, and I'm like, hold on, I don't want to get super zen right now. I want that blood flowing to my brain. I want that kind of spike of adrenaline, those hormones pumping through me to make me pinpoint and focus on the challenge in front of me. There's nothing wrong with that, right? As long as it doesn't go on for too long, as long as it's something that I can manage, as long as I can add some relief to the struggle that I'm about to challenge or I'm about to face, right? And that's the thing. Stress is not a bad thing. We can't avoid stress. Stress is always going to be there. We couldn't control this, right? Like, it happened. There was nothing within this we could control. It came out of nowhere and it caused us a stress. It could happen again down the line. We could potentially lose jobs again down the line. We can get on the Northern Line and it's delayed by 5 minutes, by 10 minutes. We can get a bill through the door that we weren't expecting. We can go to work and one of our colleagues pisses us off. Like, stress is always going to be in our life. And thing is, we kind of need stress. We need the struggle of stress to grow stronger as human beings. You know, the reason that I don't know, a doorman gets better at being a doorman is because of the challenges that doorman has had to face historically in the past, right? It's learning to read crowds and read people and building an intuition. And usually that's been through not getting it necessarily right a few dozen times before they start to be able to read situations and people and get it right. Or if you're a manager of a team, and you've had poor members of the team or struggling teams, or you have people nicking from the business or stealing from the business, and you've had some real stressful environments. The reason that your intuition is so much better now is because of those struggles that you've been through historically. The reason I'm going to get better at finances moving forward, because, hey, I'm an ex-drug addict of well over a decade. Me and money are just very, very hard things to... I'm not great at financial well-being. That's not my jam. Financial and nutritional well-being. Don't talk to me, people. But the reason I'm going to get better at money is because I've kind of found myself really exposed financially at the moment, and I kind of needed something to tip me over the edge. And this has certainly put my focus on what needs to get sorted out from a financial point of view moving forward. So if anything was like this to happen again, I'd like to think I'm going to be in a better place to be able to deal with it, because I've learned from this stressful situation. And that's the thing. Stress can't change. Stress is always going to happen. But what can change is our choice, our outlook. We can certainly allowed to get lost in the stress. We're certainly allowed to be upset by the stress. We're certainly allowed to be pissed off by the stress, but we can't spend too much time there. We can either think post-traumatic stress or post-traumatic growth. We can think, right, what can I control here? How can I keep my world small? What can I learn from? What can I take away? What can I show I'm grateful for? And it might have to be something really fucking small at first, right? And that might be a real hard thing to stomach right now, because there is nothing. But I would say for 99% of people out there, there is. And whether it's being pushed closer to loved ones, or whether it's a learning opportunity that you can take moving forward into the future, there will be something there that can help you reframe what's going on. And ultimately, you can't change what's going on. Even if you can't find the positive, you can't change it. So then you just have to think about, well, how can I navigate it? And that's about keeping your world small. That's by not getting too lost in the press and the media and social media and so forth. It's thinking about what can I control and influence today to help me manage the struggle of the day? Where can I add relief? And what we look at here is ultimately the stress cycle, okay? And a day is like a stress cycle, right? Like we start the day, and stress is energy. Remember this. Stress is our body's way of giving us the energy and focus to tackle tasks in front of us, right? It's giving us resources, it's putting us into first gear, but there's only so long we can stay in first gear. It costs us money to be there. It costs us fuel to be there. We don't want to stay too long in first. Otherwise, it becomes chronic. Otherwise, it becomes an ongoing problem. So a day is an energy cycle, right? We get up, we check our phones, we have to go to meetings, we have to go and work hard or whatever it may be. And then how do we close the stress cycle down? We get a good night's sleep. Well, for some of us, we get a good night's sleep. For a lot of us, we don't. And that's another conversation to have. And maybe we can do more about that in some follow-up videos. But we understand the importance of opening the stress cycle and then closing the stress cycle down, because that's where our body heals. That's where it recovers. That's where we file away all the emotions and the challenges of the day. And our day is full of all these tiny little stress cycles. That might be a phone call to the bank or a visit to the bank. It might be checking our bank account. It might be having a tough conversation with a loved one. It might be going for a run or going to the gym. Like anything that causes our body to be spending more energy is an energy cycle, is a stress cycle. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it's our body's way of giving us the resource that we need to be able to complete the task in front of us, to have that tricky conversation, to be able to open up. Like I need a lot of resource to open up my bank account. It really scares me. It triggers me, and I need to focus. I need to keep my brain and my mind on the task at hand and manage my self-control to keep my emotions in check and not to lose my shit while I'm checking my accounts. And that takes a lot from me. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I want that resource. I want that focus. But here's the thing. Just like going to the gym, when we do a cool down, we have to think about how we add relief to the struggle. How do we close the stress cycle down? And that's what I kind of want to impart with you guys today, is starting to think about in the day where you can add these kind of small little parts of the day where you're starting to kind of add relief to the struggle. Now that could be literally going out for a walk at the end of your working day. And what I mean by working day is, I'm sure that even if you're not working at the moment, you're doing stuff through the day to try and just stay active or keep the mind active, or you're looking for potential jobs or work, or you're on, I don't know, right? All of you have got so many different situations at the moment, but your working day could just be keeping your shit, your head above water, and you're trying to focus on keeping your head in gear, and doing that by doing tasks throughout the day. So maybe putting in the walk in around 5 o'clock, so you can almost transition through and close the stress cycle of the day to then it be the evening, right? And then you'll be able to kind of spend some time around the dinner table with your family. Like, keeping the structure in the household is so, so important. So thinking about that, or maybe you've got to do an hour of tough work and tough calls, and thinking about, well, as opposed to me jumping onto email straight away or jumping into a conversation that I don't want to have with someone, maybe I just need to go for a sit on my steps outside for 5 to 10 minutes and push back and add relief to that stress cycle. And that's very much changing your physiology, and then your physiology will influence your psychology, right? And that's what's important. If we had to have access to clearer and more critical thinking, we have to push back on the stress cycle. We have to give ourselves this relief. And that comes through walking. It comes through, doing a light jog, or going to do some body weight work in the park. It's simply sitting there on a bench for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes outside your house on the steps, or whatever it may be. Even sitting by a window with the window open and having no distractions. Other ways that we can add relief to the stress cycle is by journaling, writing down our thoughts and feelings and so forth, and even just bullet pointing, like, hey, this is what I'm finding hard and this is what I'm grateful for. And one of the greatest ways that we can add relief to the stress cycle, guys, is by talking, okay? And I'm definitely talking to the dudes out there as well. And there's a lot of men and males' mental health is a big conversation for me. I'm an ambassador for men's mental health charity Calm. We can really feel like we've got to keep this stuff bottled in. We've got to stay strong for those around us. But strength really comes in communication. Our physiology, evolution has said that it is much better for us to talk and engage with human beings than be isolated. And we can still be isolated in a house full of people. And that is just causing us to have more stress. It's causing us to spend more energy internally by keeping our emotions in check, right? When actually, by having a conversation with someone face to face, you actually start to mirror their physiology. Like, heart rates start to change, your respiratory rate starts to change and match theirs. You actually start to mirror the person in front of you. Evolution has designed us to want to be closer to human beings, okay? Some people might say they want a hug from their mum. The reason we say that to ourselves is because we don't just release adrenaline and cortisol when we're stressed, we release oxytocin, and that's a hormone that's designed to bring us closer to other human beings. How crazy is that? So our physiology actually dictates psychology and behavior. So it's really important to recognize that and have a conversation with someone and say, like, hey, this is what's going on right now. I'm really struggling to share, but I'm going to do my damn best with you. Maybe we can talk about more stuff like this moving forward in other videos, but I just want to talk about the power of talking right now and how important it is us to have those tough conversations. And we can definitely do some work on this more if you guys want to do more of it. So I hope that's something I've come onto this super nervous, and there's been a quick turnaround time as well, because I know you guys want to get a newsletter out and they're really keen to get some stuff on there. So I wanted to put something together for you. So I hope this has helped a little bit. It really is just thinking about, if you want to get access to kind of, the thoughts and feelings to be able to navigate, or kind of the cognitive resources, think about where you're adding relief to the stress in your day. And like I said, that's simply going for a walk where possible, getting some fresh air, talking to those you love, writing down your feelings and thoughts, or just potentially just sitting there and taking a few damn deep breaths, whatever it may be. We will do more on this. I hope that's given you something to take away and think about for now. If you have any questions, you can catch me at the Wellbeing CEO. Guys, I'm really enthused about talking to you guys some more, hopefully creating some webinar environments where we can have some two-way conversations, and really just listening to what you actually need right now, as opposed to me assuming, and then providing some specific content to be able to help with whatever well-being challenges you are facing. So think about today, think about how you can close down some stress cycles, add relief to the stress, and if you can do that, it will start to give you the access and the tools cognitively to navigate some of the bigger problems moving forward. I will catch you soon. Bye.